This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Happy Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Happy Hour.
What up? What's happening? This is the best of Happy Hour. This is going to be episode 4. Wow, how time flies. I can't believe this is the 4th episode of this best of edition for Happy Hour. All right. This week, we have a jam-packed show, and I mean jam-packed. We have Billy Madison from the nationally syndicated Billy Madison Show. We also have Michael Price, who is the co-creator of Bill Burr's cartoon comedy F is for Family on Netflix. We also have comedian Jim Norton and more. But first, guess who makes Happy Hour possible? Guess what sponsors make this all go down? First of all, it's Simply Prepaid of T-Mobile in Gulfport at 5014 Gulfport Boulevard South in Gulfport, Florida. Call them at 727-331-1934. That is 727-331-1934. And also, let's give a shout out whenever I have the celebrities in or the comedians. Let's give a shout out to Speed King Signs out of Palmetto. They are at 411 7th Street West in Palmetto, Florida. Call them at 941-628-1506. That is 941-628-1506. And finally, to buy some nice decals for Happy Hour, brought to you by Solis Graphics in Duluth, Minnesota. My guy, Nicholas Seymour, hooks you up. Go to tinyurl.com/happyhourdecal. That is tinyurl.com/happyhourdecal. You guys ready? Let's get the best of Happy Hour going with Billy Madison.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Hoppe? How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good, man.
To be on your show, dude. That's what I'm excited about, dude. I'm excited to be on your show.
How honored are you? You've done so much in radio. Did you ever think you'd be on the best local podcast in Tampa Bay?
No, I had no idea. I'm very blessed, and I don't take it for granted. I mean, this is the best podcast. Of course, I don't know much about podcasts or anything like that. I know that we have a podcast, and we seem to get a lot of downloads, which is just crazy because I didn't even think people really were into podcasts, but they are. So, man, you're like cutting edge.
Doesn't it feel good, though, that people actually download our shows and then listen to them? Like, isn't it, like, flattering to think that us talking into the microphones makes someone's day, you know?
I actually feel sorry for all these people because that means a lot of people aren't having sex. Yeah, or they're just so miserable. Like, I don't know if it's their husband that nags them or their wife that nags them to death, and they're just like, oh, let me throw this podcast on so you'll shut up.
Dude, you guys have some diehard fans, man. I respect you guys. Your fans, man, love every second of your show, dude. They are diehard, Billy.
Yeah, I know. See, I didn't know if people in Tampa like us or not. I can't tell because we get a lot of hate, which, you know, we embrace it and stuff like that. We're kind of like the show. We're not like a mean, aggressive show. We just kind of like love everybody and stuff. You know, we're kind of pansies. So it's you know, it's odd because I'm like, man, I can't tell if Tampa likes us or not. But I'm like, why wouldn't you like us? I mean, we're a bunch of pansies. You get to make fun of us. You can call in and make fun of us. We don't think we're cool. We know we're a bunch of losers. We're probably going to get fired at any point in time. We already know our lives are going to be in the toilet after radio's done. So I would think that people would embrace that more and like us more. Hold on, I'm having some ice cream.
What type of ice cream are you having, Billy?
Well, because I'm like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
What I got mint chocolate chip with whipped cream and hot fudge.
Dude,
See,
that sounds
fun of
amazing.
me of that. Oh, it's so good.
Where'd you get it from?
I go to Cold Stone. But,
Dude.
man, do I feel like a fat ass after I eat this. I mean, it's like one of those things where you love it. You know, it's probably like doing a chick that's not very attractive. You're like, man, this is going to be terrible when I'm done. But it gets you there.
It's just like what Lil Wayne says. First you come, and then you come to your senses. Is that how it is when you have that ice cream?
I think so, yeah, dude, because I'm going to have to work out, dude. I'm going to have to hit the stair. I like pull-ups. I do man stuff. I like to do pull-ups, and, you know, because, you know, people do make fun of us, and, you know, I got to be prepared in case they ever want to fight. So I got to stay in fighting shape.
How much of a man are you, Billy? Are you very manly?
No, not at all. I can't hang a curtain, bro. But, you know, I like to pretend like I'm a man.
It is weird how people don't know who we are. They just sort of get what's on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, you guys bust each other's balls, but I know you guys are friends at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot of radio shows where these guys just exploit everybody else, and the one host is the best person in the room. But what I like about your show is you guys all seem like you care about each other. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. They roast me, dude. I get one damn cat. I get a cat. And so now I'm just inundated with cat stuff. I got litter companies that are following me on Twitter, trying to pimp me out some litter. I got cats, like just random cats will show up at the radio. Like weird-ass people will show up with cats at the radio station. Like, oh, can you sign my cat? It'd be an honor if you could sign my cat. And I'm like, man, it's Derek makes one comment. Some weird-ass comment about me wearing a Catwoman costume, which wasn't even true.
Are you sure, Billy?
Yeah, no, I'm 100%. I would be honest, dude. I may just have to wear a Catwoman costume someday. Just for that, rock one of those Hoppe. I think you'd look pretty good in a Catwoman costume.
Can you imagine my 6'9" frame wearing a Catwoman outfit? It would look very bizarre, Bill.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. That's why it would be awesome. So tell me about you, dude. What are you doing with this podcast? What are you doing with your life?
Dude,
that's it? You just want to do radio or something? You going to go to college? You got a girlfriend? What do you do?
Dude, man, I chose the weirdest route in life. I went to a community college for a year, did a radio show there, got kicked off because I said some offensive rants about the Pope. So then I went to a radio school.
I love the Pope. Yeah, I would have thrown you off too. I'm a big fan of the Pope.
Are you Catholic?
Oh yeah, 100%, bro.
Really?
And I'm not like Catholic light. I'm not practicing Catholic. Yeah.
What would God think of Spank a Hot Chick Friday? Would he approve?
Well, yeah, but that's the great thing is that I don't spank them. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
They get to meet the devil. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's for later on in life. You're just watching and observing the madness of Spank a Hot Chick Friday, right?
Look, that'd be kind of hypocritical. The Pope just hung out with Leonardo DiCaprio. He's spanking hot chicks all the time. Let's be honest.
Me?
Right? He's just no Leonardo DiCaprio spanking hot chicks all the time. Yeah, he was just hanging out with the Pope.
Dude,
let's be honest. I mean, you think they're going to be mad at me? Come on.
Dude, you are a saint. Saint Billy Madison, man.
Yeah, compared to Leo, I am a saint. That's for sure. So, I mean, he's spanking different hot girls all the time. I don't even spank the girls. In fact, if you listen, I try to be their dad.
Yeah, you are very nice to them. Derek seems like the guy that just flirts with the girls all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he flirts with the dudes, too, just to be funny, which cracks me up because he's 100% hetero. But
yeah.
It's funny. He'll just make them real uncomfortable. He's a character, man. He's awesome.
Do you guys ever find yourself like trying to hit on Tracy, but you don't mean to? Or is it you guys all see her as a friend? Like, how does that go down? Like, do you guys actually hit on Tracy?
No. She hates us all.
Really?
I'm pretty sure deep down, she probably hates us. None of us want to bang her because it's like Nard's wife and stuff, and he has like a, perfect family and stuff. But it's just to rattle Nard. We'd actually like to see Tracy be a bigger star than Nard. That's why we do it.
What is it about Nard?
Huge ego.
Does Nard annoy you? Why do you want to see her be bigger than Nard?
Oh, just because Nard's, we used to give him a name called Captain Cool because he was just so cool. We called him Mr. Cool, Captain Cool. And then my favorite part is when I renamed him Frankenstein and we buried the Nard word. And he was Frankenstein for a while and he would cry and he'd be so upset because he wanted to identify as Nard. His wife would tell you the same thing. He just loves himself. So it's funny when we get to, crush his dream.
How did you first meet Nathan Norris?
He called in because he wanted me to call up Oprah and tell Oprah his story. And I was like, I don't know how you, I don't know why you're assuming that I just have Oprah's number, first of all. And why would you want to hear your story? But so that was the funny part. That's what was going on there.
And what drew you in? Did he say more during that call? Did he call more often? What was it about Nard where you're like, I need him on the show?
I want to meet him, so I always invite the people down, the weirdos that I think would be good for the show. I'll invite them down. And Nard he had this smile. He was smiling. Like, we were making fun of him right to his face, and he's just smiling, taking it. And I was like, this is great. So he's going to make a great radio dude, and that's exactly what happened.
What does he bring to the table? Like, I feel like people just see Nard as the guy that you guys tase, but I feel like he brings more to the show, you know?
No, not really. He doesn't really bring anything else. He's real good at, like, finding, like, if we give him instructions on how to do something, I mean, he's a pit bull, man. He'll just bite your throat. He'll get it done. I mean, he's just a reliable dude. I like all the guys on the show. I like everybody.
That's what I like, man. It seems like you guys all get along because, dude, we all know shows out there where you have to be the biggest in the room, the host, and they just make fun of each other. Like, aren't you not a fan of that, like, mean shock jock radio?
No, I like that we're pansies. I can't believe it hasn't caught on more. Like, I can't believe that Tampa just doesn't wrap their arms around us and just love us. Because, if you listen to us, we make fun. I mean, we make such fun of ourselves every single day, right?
Yeah.
And how pathetic we are and what losers we are. I mean, I just can't imagine why people wouldn't just love that so much instead of, the typical show where, the host is the coolest guy. You're not allowed to make fun of the host or, the host, is just, I don't know. Those shows, I don't know. I mean, I guess it works for them, but, we do something different.
Has there ever been a joke, though, on air that Derek maybe said, maybe Nard, that offended you where you got mad? Was there ever a joke that crossed the line, Billy?
Oh, yeah, every day. Every day they say something that's, they'll talk about my dad and stuff. But, it's kind of like, it's not a big deal. I don't think I've ever gotten, like, real mad. I don't think so. I think everything's, it's cool. I thought it was funny when he said, cancer kicked my dad's ass.
Jesus, man.
I mean, I know it was harsh at the time. I was like, wow, that's really harsh. But, oh, my God, that's so funny because cancer did kick his ass.
Dude, isn't it hard when you lose your dad to cancer? Because I lost mine about 14 months ago to leukemia. Isn't it the weirdest thing when it happens, dude?
Yeah, it was weird because my dad was so naked all the time because of the cancer. And so his little junk, like his whole body had cancer. It was just like, man, you could see it was a horrible way to die. Terrible.
That's what happened with my dad, too.
Yeah. Did you see him naked? Because that was like the image I can't get out of my head is like my dad's just all, like malnourished and naked. It was weird.
Well, the weird part about the experience with my dad in cancer was he did lawn work in the front lawn after he was in recovery from the leukemia, so it could have possibly killed him, maybe not. And before that, he was jogging, he was in shape, but doing the lawn work, raking the leaves, got him sick again. And he looked like my grandpa, and he was only 51 years old. So it's just weird how, like, cancer takes over, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's terrible. No, it's brutal. But it was cool because, like, I got to spend some time with him. And because he'd always, like, say he was going to pick me up on Fridays, and then he wouldn't. But now he was, like, stuck because he had cancer, so it wasn't like he could just take off. So that part was kind of cool that he was kind of forced to hang out with me.
What are some of your best memories of your dad? Maybe when he had cancer and you guys would hang out, or maybe before. What are some memories that come to your mind?
He was really mad because he never locks his garage door, but I would have known that if he spent more time with me, but I locked his garage door because I thought, well, that's what you do. Most people lock their garage doors. Well, the dumbass didn't bring a key with, and so we're stuck out there for like 2 hours trying to get inside, and he's got cancer. He's just miserable, and he's sweating, and he was just so mad, but he couldn't really do anything because he couldn't beat me up anymore, so that was a good memory.
Is it your, like, motivation to, like, make him proud even though he's gone? Like, is your dad sort of your motivation? Because he's mine, kind of, and my mom, too. I just want to make it.
Yeah, my dad was the funniest person ever. I mean, he really was. He had a great personality. My mom is not very funny. She doesn't have a good personality, but my dad was hilarious. Like, my mom was, like, more nurturing and there and stuff, and she'd always be reliable. But as far as funny, that's why I could never hate my dad, because it was, like, he was just so funny. Even when he wouldn't, like, pick me up on Friday or forget or something, or it was just, I mean, he could make that so funny. He made everything funny. So I could never hate him. He was so funny. And so, you know, I hope that maybe that's one of the gifts he gave me. But, you know, I'm not 100% sure because we haven't really added any new markets lately. So yeah, I don't know if, you know, he really gave me all that funniness. I feel that some days he did. And I feel like some days he takes it away, too, when I don't have a good day.
But, dude, you have a show that is syndicated, and you guys do very well, man. I would love to be in your position, dude. I respect what you guys do. You guys put on a top-notch show every day, man. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think between the guys and everybody, I think we're super, you know, we put on a funny show and do things that other people don't do. But, you know, I also, you know, don't think we're very good.
In what way?
You know, it could just be, yeah, I mean, I remember, like, Howard Stern, he'd be like, oh, you know, he was going through that thing where he didn't think he was very good and all that stuff. And I feel like, you know, like I'm never satisfied. I feel like Howard went through that. Not that I'm Howard. I'm like, you know, Howard Duck. Not really Howard Stern, but more like Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was just, you know, he had that thing where he just never thought, you know, he's like, oh, man, I got to get better. I got to do this, or, you know, I don't even know where I was going with that, dude.
No, I know what you mean, man. Like,
track.
You can never be content. You always have to focus.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said, like, in his book or something that he was just never happy. You know, he always wanted more. And so, yeah, we're never content. We always think we're going to get fired. You know, when the ratings come out, we're always like, oh, crap, it's going to suck. And they'll get a 25 share. And then everybody will be excited, and I'll be like, well, it's just a fluke for 4 years straight.
Why do you have such low swagger, man? You guys are in a huge market. You guys are in Tampa Bay, Fort Myers, Corpus Christi. You should be pumped, man. You're syndicated. Get some confidence, Billy.
I know. I've always lacked confidence. That's why I would think that, you know, an audience, maybe that's what I'm doing wrong, because I think, you know, all these other confident hosts, people seem to like them better. You know, Derek doesn't have a lot of confidence. Nard doesn't have any like, none of us have any confidence.
Why is that?
You know, I don't really know. Yeah, probably because our dads, you know, weren't there to really build us up very much. Nard lived in a barn. I don't think that's a good confidence builder, that his whole family is nice and toasty warm in a house, and then Nard's in a barn.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
Next on Happy Hour is Michael Price, who is the co-creator of F is for Family, which is the adult cartoon about Bill Burr's life, which can be found on Netflix. He called into Happy Hour to talk about how the show is made, how the process went down, and he gives a little bit of an inkling if there's going to be a season 2. And surprise, just announced within the last 2 weeks, there is a season 2. One of the best shows on TV. Go and watch it. But first, listen to this interview with Michael Price, co-creator of F is for Family, on Netflix, only on Happy Hour. What is happening? This is Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and I am very honored about my next guest. He is the co-creator of the cartoon on Netflix, F is for Family, with Bill Burr. Michael Price is on the phone line. What's up, man?
Hey, Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm very honored that you responded back to me on Twitter. I love adult animation. I grew up watching any show that you can name that's an adult cartoon, but there's something about F is for Family that it just immediately touched me. Like, it's amazing. Like, I haven't seen a cartoon this great maybe in years. Like, it's right up there with The Simpsons. Like, a lot of shows now are sort of the same thing, and some of them are too surreal and goofy. You guys have something golden with F is for Family.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much. We're just so happy, you know, because we've been working on this thing off and on. You know, we started working on it almost 4 years ago. So for the longest time, it was just a couple of us in a room, and now the people are seeing it, and we're so excited by the response of people like you, and that like the show as much as we like it. So we're thrilled.
Did you guys ever get discouraged because, like, you're going on a year and then 2 years and then 3 years? Was there ever a point when you guys maybe thought this wasn't going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to give you a very quick rundown of what happened was, it began from, of course, from Bill Burr, who, is a great stand-up comedian and had for many years thought about trying to work some kind of animation maybe onto his website or something, about some of the stories he tells in his act about his dad and about his family. But then he hooked up with the producers at Wild West Productions, which is Vince Vaughn's production company, and they decided they wanted to try to develop this into an actual animated series. And that's how I got involved because, Bill is a great stand-up, but he didn't have much experience working for television writing or animation. So they went out and looked to various writers who had animation experience, and I was the one that had a meeting with them, and we really hit it off, and they decided to work with me. So we worked on the idea for a long time. We pitched it to another network first, who initially liked the idea enough to have us write a script that we wrote for the first episode, like a pilot, and then we turned it into them, and they said it was very funny, but they just decided they didn't want to go forward with it. So there was a moment there where we all kind of thought, okay, well, that's it. That's how it works sometimes. But I want to give all the credit in the world to our executive producer, the head of Wild West, Vince Vaughn, who is an amazing guy. He's not just a great actor. He's really funny, but he's really passionate, and he really show. And he said, this is not dead. I know we're going to bring this. And he immediately thought of bringing it to Netflix. And he had kind of a prior relationship with some of the people at Netflix. And Bill Burr had a relationship with the people at Netflix because he had done some specials for them. And we took it there, and they got it, and they ordered the show. But there was definitely that moment where we thought, this is not going to happen.
What's it like when you guys find out that it got green-lighted by Netflix? Like, how surreal is that?
Oh, my God. Well, it's just so exciting. And, to be in a room, we had a meeting with the people at Netflix where they had read the script, so they were familiar with the script and liked it. And then we had this meeting where we kind of talked about what we go on, what we do going past that script, what the show would look like, and we heard back from them a couple of days later that they wanted to do it. And I can't even tell you, you had to like peel me off the ceiling. I was so excited. Because this was the first show that I've created, I co-created it with Bill. I've done a lot of pilots and written some pilots that never got past the script phase, didn't get made, so this was the first thing of mine that I've co-created or created in any way that got on the air. So it was just an exciting feeling to know that we were going to really do this thing. And
now, how does the writing process work? Are you guys all in a boardroom and you share ideas, or do people throw a bunch of episodes and then you sort of pick which ones you like the best? How does the writing go?
Well, yeah, I mean, the way we did our show was that, that first script was a collaboration between myself and Bill and a couple other producers, where I did the actual writing of the script, but then we all kind of sat down together and punched it up, and Bill threw a ton of jokes in there, and we all kind of rewrote it together. And then once we got ordered to do 5 more episodes or to make 6 episodes, then we hired a writing staff, which was pretty smaller, a lot smaller than your normal sitcom writer's room. We only had about 5 of us all together. We hired a couple of veterans, guys who were just fantastic writers who had worked on a bunch of shows, a guy named David Richardson, a guy named Tom Giannis. We hired some young writers who were just getting their start, Emily Towers and Joe Hesslinga and a guy named Henry Gamble. And we then spent a long time just sort of talking through what the other stories would be, and also working out what would be kind of the serialized nature of the plot, what the story was about Frank and dealing with his work problems and the union and all that stuff. And then everyone went off and wrote a first draft of their story. And when the draft came back in, then we were all together in the room, sitting around a table in this room where, I was sort of in charge of the room, and I would lead the rewrite, and we'd say, okay, well, we need a new thing here. This can be better. And everyone pitched. That's sort of how, like, sitcom writers' rooms work, where you say, okay, we could use a better line here, and everyone pitches, and we put in the one that's the funniest, and then we move on from there. So the scripts were rewritten and punched up in that way.
Are there any arguments or anxiety that ensues when you guys are all in the room, or do you guys sort of know that if you guys work it out, it'll get done?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both because, I mean, everyone was very smart. Everyone was very passionate about the show and believed in the show as much as anyone. So there would be arguments, debates, I'd say, about, well, should we do this? Should we go in this direction with the story, or is this joke better, or is this the best way to word the joke? And then ultimately, ultimate decision in the room came down to me. But I really, you hire a staff because you value them and you trust their judgment and you listen to them. So, I'd say we had spirited discussions many times about a particular story point or a particular joke that we ultimately resolved. And we knew that we'd get there in the spirit of collaboration, which is the only way you can only do it when you're running a writer's room or in a writer's room. Everyone's reaching towards the same goal, which is to get the script in the best shape as possible and get home. So, I mean, it's not just like a dictatorial thing where I say that's what we're doing, but we had a lot of very, very fun and interesting what wasn't and what would work better. Everyone contributed.
Now, what was the longest you guys ever had a meeting? Because sometimes you hear with shows like South Park that they're just up for 24 hours in a row trying to get something done, and other shows like that. So were there days when it would just go by so slowly and it was a long day?
Yeah. I mean, our average day, we'd start work around 10 o'clock or so, and we'd go maybe till around 7. I have a family, so I want to go home. I don't want to work late.
Yeah.
And there were a few nights where we had to work a little bit later because, we had certain deadlines we had to hit. We had the way the scripts work is that we get the script ready, and then we have what's called a table read with the cast, where the cast comes in and we invite guests, people to work on the production, but also friends and family to listen in. And it's kind of like putting on a performance where everyone listens to the script being read for the first time, and we're able to gauge how it plays. Is it funny or not? Is it getting laughs? And then we rewrite it, and then it gets put into, production. We rewrite it, and then the voices get recorded and so on. So when we were in the middle of that, there were certain nights where we had to work a little bit later because we had a deadline to meet. We had the table read the next day, or we had to be in the recording studio and have the script ready. But for the most part, I've worked on some shows where it was different than that, where we were working every night till midnight or some nights till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I just can't function that way. So we really were focused, and we really just pushed it along, and we never worked super late.
Now, there's some shows where I'm not a big fan of some of the voices, and some of the other voices are great. But when F is for Family, every voice fits the character's face. How hard was it of a process to find the perfect people like Haley Reinhardt for Bill? Like, how hard was it, or did it go pretty smoothly to get all the voices?
Well, it was a combination of smooth and difficult for some of the characters. When we knew Bill was going to play Frank, and there were some actors that I knew of that I had worked with before or I admired, who I suggested for the cast. So, for instance, there's a great, hilarious, wonderful actress named Mo Collins, who was on Mad TV and also has been on Parks and Recreation and is super funny and versatile. And so I'd always wanted to work with her, so I recommended her for the cast. And she plays a whole bunch of parts on the show. She plays Jimmy the bully. She plays Brandy, the ditzy wife of the head of the airline. She played so many characters on the show, so funnily. She played the woman who was Sue's boss for the Plasticware company. So I knew we wanted her. There was another guy I'd worked with on some other stuff, this guy named Trevor Duvall, who's a great actor who also was very versatile, played a bunch of characters. He played Mr. Holpenwasser, the little German man who the kids are afraid of, and a bunch of characters. But then when we got to the main characters, like we knew we wanted an actress of real depth to play the wife of Sue. And so we wanted her to be real and really have someone who like had some kind of like a track record of playing drama, you know. So we were so happy that Laura Dern, you know, responded to the material and read it and told us she wanted to do it. So once we got her, then we were able to get other actors of that kind of, you know, of name quality, but also of like high quality acting. Like Sam Rockwell played the neighbor Vic, was a huge get for us. And Justin Long, which was so perfect, and he was friendly with Vince Vaughn already, and knew Bill Burr a little bit. So, you know, it was just great to find people like that. And then some people were total surprises. You know, we were really having a difficult time finding the voice for Bill the Kid. We'd found Maureen, Debbie Derryberry plays Maureen. She's a great voice actor, like a real pro who's done voice acting for years and years. But we couldn't find anyone that sounded right for Bill. And it was almost like we only had a day or two left before we really had to start getting the show together. And we heard this tape of Haley Reinhart that she had made where she auditioned for the role of, I think, of Charlie Brown, maybe in the Peanuts special. So we heard a tape of her reading a speech from Charlie Brown Christmas or something. And her natural voice, she's a great singer, but she has a naturally kind of raspy, husky voice that just sounds like a 10-year-old boy. So we were like, oh, my God, this is it. This is her. So we brought her in. We knew she didn't have a whole lot of acting credentials, you know, but we brought her in and interviewed her, and she read the piece of the part, and she just nailed it. And we're like, oh, my God, we were like, it was like a gift from God that we got her. And the rest of our cast was just all fell into place with really great actors: Kevin Michael Richardson, Dave Koechner, Gary Cole. We were so lucky to get these people to do our show.
Now, is it weird when you watch some of these guys, maybe they do more than one voice and that more than one voice talks to each other in the show? Is it weird to see the like actors talk to each other? Like the one person that's just talking in one voice and then another. Is that weird to watch?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of used to it by now because I've been working on The Simpsons for a long time now, and our Simpsons cast is so versatile and so great. And
yeah.
They've been doing it for 27 years. So I'm just used to seeing Dan Castellaneta have an entire scene where it's Homer talking to Krusty or whatever, you know, or Harry Shearer being Mr. Burns and Smithers doing a scene together, and they just switch back and forth with no effort at all. I mean, that's incredible. So it's still amazing to see for me how talented they are, but it's not as big as a shock as it was, you know, several years ago when I first started working with them.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
Next on Happy Hour is a guy who is the reason why I'm in this business, is a guy who's the reason why I'm talking into this microphone right now for the best of Happy Hour, the one and only Jim Norton, who is the co-host of Opie and Jimmy on Sirius XM Radio. I grew up a geek for Opie and Anthony, so I was honored when I was able to interview him for 5 minutes on the Mike Kelta Show on 102.5 The Bone in Tampa Bay. And Jim liked my interview so much on air that I got to interview him in between shows in the back room at Side Splitters Comedy Club in Tampa Bay. It was a great interview, and you never knew where Jim was going to go because he's a madman, which is why he is so genius at comedy. What up? What is happening? This is Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and this interview I'm about to do does not seem like real life. I've been a fan of this guy and listening to this guy for a whole decade now. Live at Side Splitters is Jim Norton, comedian and co-host of the Opie and Jim Norton Show on Sirius XM Radio. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Hoppe. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing? How honored are you to be sitting on the best local podcast in Tampa?
Well, it was one that I lobbied to get on, and they told me that Cowhead wanted me, and I said I will only do Cowhead if he can somehow connect me to you. And he did, and he hates that I still call him Cowhead, but I will not call him Mike Calta until he acknowledges how great you are.
What did you see in me this morning? Because I was a bit nervous.
Yes.
Now I'm a little more chill because I'm 2 beers in. But I was really twitchy and shaky. What did you see in me when you're like, fine, fuck it, I'll do a few minutes?
Well, you seem like one cool customer. You didn't seem nervous at all. You wore the C-3PO mask with dignity. So I figured anyone that can walk around in the Star Wars mask and pull it off that beautifully must be very comfortable to talk to in a podcast setting.
Hell yeah. How did the first 2 shows go? Like, what is the vibe like? Because here in Tampa Bay, we embrace our comedy, so I can imagine you killed it out there.
Very good crowds. I went out of order, so a couple of times I lost my place because I wasn't sure. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm trying new stuff up front. So I'm actually, as we're talking, I'm actually thinking about the Star Wars stuff that I forgot to talk about.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. I love this audience and great shows so far.
What's it like when maybe you go over your words, like you're not in the zone? How do you recover so you don't have a bad show? Like, let's say the first few jokes don't go as well as you planned. How do you recover?
Well, you always want the audience. You have to present it like this is going exactly as I planned.
Yeah.
Usually, I start or acknowledge it, and that makes it comfortable for them. But a lot of times, you have to just keep going and realize that they're there to see you, and you're going to get them. But luckily, I haven't had a terrible show like that in a long time.
Do you do something where you read the audience and you see what the demographic is, and you'll figure out if they'll like the jokes?
No, never. Because if you paint a picture and you hang it in a museum, you don't change the picture when people come to look at it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So I only have something to give. It's my material. It's my act. So, I can't really change it enough to please people in the audience if they're inclined to not like it. So I kind of just have to do what I do.
How often do you come up with new jokes? Are you observational? Because you travel a lot. So do you see things at the airport or in life that you observe and use in your comedy? Or is it the same routine in each city?
No, I mean, you build on it and you do the same routine. I do stuff about a year, and then I'll usually, film it, and then I'm done with the material. So I'm going to hopefully shoot this in April or May. So now I'm really trying to tighten it up and see what do I want to keep in the special, what's too topical. If it's too topical, it's no good, because then by the time it airs, I can't talk about, do you think Trump will win the presidency? Because if I shoot that, by the time it airs, we already have a president.
Yeah.
So, you got to kind of realize that topical stuff has a shelf life.
How amazing would it be for you if he were to win in November?
I would love him to win just because I know half the country really hates him. So I think it'd be fun to watch people grappling with dealing with this non-politician. I really hope he wins.
What would happen if he were to win? I think you said this morning on Mike Calta that nothing would change, because I feel like nothing's going to change when it comes to everything in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know shit about politics. I'm just saying I kind of got the vibe that he wouldn't really ruin the country as badly as people want to make it out to be.
No, because he can't, because you need the Congress and the Senate, and both parties hate him. The Republicans are not happy that he's doing so well, and the Democrats hate him. So he would have a hard time. He couldn't just go in and ruin everything. He could say some things that would upset a lot of people. The way he spoke about foreign leaders would probably bother them. I haven't seen any compassion in him. I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but you want a president who can really show some compassion, like during school shootings and things like that. You want anger, but you also want compassion. So I'd be interested to see that side of him.
That's a good point, because when you see Trump, it just seems like he's always ranting and trying to be the outspoken guy in the room, but I haven't really heard him say anything where you go, you can relate to him. He just seems like he wants to be the smartest and loudest dude in the room.
Yeah, the quality that people relate to is that, wow, that guy has balls. He's saying what I want to say. But that's not enough. That's not enough to make you the president. Obama, whether people like him or hate him, there's a humanity to him that people they relate to. George Bush, like him or hate him, he had a fucking down home, hey, you know, they related to something in him. He's not a perfect student. He was not a perfect speller. Trump has really very little that's relatable. He's a billionaire. He's the guy that most of us fucking hate because he's the guy that runs over us. So he better find some compassionate qualities, the things that make him connect, or he's going to have a hard time winning.
Now, has he ever sat in on your radio show before?
No, but he's called in, and I've met him a couple times. I met him at his roast, and I did the Tonight Show with him one time.
And what's he like in person? Is he cool, or is he kind of a bigwig? You know what I mean?
He was a bit of a cold fish. He wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't very open with me. But again, he didn't know me. So we said hello. And I know his son pretty well. Donald's a friend of mine, Donald Jr., so I like him a lot.
Who are some of the worst celebrities you've ever met? There's legendary ones like Jesse Ventura, but who are some recently when you're like, come on, what the hell's wrong with you?
I didn't dislike Jessie nearly as much as I disliked Paris Hilton. She was just a fucking vapid idiot, really boring, really self-involved. I mean, Jessie and I didn't get along, but at least he was a Navy SEAL. I mean, at least Jesse was a governor. He's a contributor.
Yeah.
We just didn't see eye to eye. Our personalities clashed, but I still respect him. Paris Hilton I had very little respect for. Ludacris we interviewed. He was not very open. I wish he had been more fun. He was a little defensive.
Yeah.
Not awful. He wasn't a dick, but,
Yeah.
he was a guy that I thought would be better than he was. A few guys I was hoping would be better. Very few have been total dicks.
What do you guys do to get the most out of porn actresses? Because they're just known for having sex on camera, and you guys make it entertaining, like when you make bits with like Bobo back in the day or David the Intern. So what is the key to getting something out of someone who isn't really known for having talent?
Well, I think that we have to be honest about the fact that they are doing something that is actually hard to do. Like, it's real easy. I hate when, like, these shock jock douchebags attack porn girls because they're easy targets. It's like, you know what? They're in $1 billion business.
Yeah.
People pay to watch them fuck. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. So I like to talk to them like I admire them. And I don't think you need to talk to them like they're these idiots. Like, yeah, your dad's disappointed. Really? Like, as opposed to your dad, you're fucking doing a local radio show in Des Moines, Iowa? What do you think? Your fucking folks are proud too? So it kind of annoys me when people attack them.
Now, have you ever had the chance? It's the biggest thing in life if you get to fuck someone in porn. Have you been given that honor in life?
Yes, with Brie Olson. I had sex with Brie Olson.
You had sex with Brie Olson?
I did, yeah. And I talk about it in my act. And she and I have been open about it. It's not like I'm telling tales out of school. She doesn't care. And it was very lovely. It was really nice sex. There was a lot of kissing. She was amazing. I would have married Brie Olson. She's phenomenal.
Did you think, though, that now you're Eskimo brothers with Sheen? Does that feel a little fucked up?
No, but I feel kind of guilty. I'm like, I think I got the whole HIV thing started. Thank God Bree's negative. So I'm like, all right, I didn't give it to him because I won't go for an AIDS test. So she's negative, which means that I'm negative. I didn't give it to Charlie.
Now, Jim, you're a very observational guy. You're very smart. You can tell that I'm goofy. I'm awkward. I'm not exactly the most normal guy. And when it comes to being around women, I get nervous.
Sure.
I get awkward, and I don't know what to say. I feel like when you were my age, maybe you were better at getting laid, but you were a little similar. What do I need to do to just fit in public and get the girls to come to me?
It's an illusion. Confidence is an illusion. So just, you're a big dude. Just be confident. Be nice to them. Be a comforting guy. They'll feel safe around you. Don't be goofy like they're doing you a favor. Hang out with them like you can protect them. What are you, 6'6"? I mean,
6'8".
Yeah, there you go. You're a big guy. Women like that. They'll think you're a ball player. Wear a fucking basketball jersey. Walk around in a Laker jersey and tell them that you're fucking, you hurt your knee, so you're on the bench this year.
Yeah.
And then fuck all of them because they'll think they're getting basketball player money.
What were some of the pickup lines that you would use back in the day? Would you lie and say maybe that you were in Senate or something? Like, what was the way that you would fuck a girl by lying at the bar?
No, nobody would have bought that I was in Senate. I was wearing a fucking Kiss t-shirt. No, I probably would have, my opening line was, hey, are you working? And they'd say, yeah. I'd say, how much? And they'd say 20. And I'd say, hop in. That was how it usually went. So I was really foolproof.
Do you ever regret how many hookers you fucked back in the day? Or is it one of the things where you're just like, that was the era of my life?
You mean back in the day? I mean, it's not something I've stopped. So, no, I never regret it. A lot of times I'm nice to hookers. I don't mistreat them. I don't abuse them. It's actually probably saved me from getting a fan pregnant or doing something really irresponsible.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
And finally, to finish up the best of Happy Hour, I have a little treat in here. From The Daily Show with Trevor Noah on Comedy Central, Roy Wood Jr. called into Happy Hour a few months ago. So let's finish up the 4th edition of the Best of Happy Hour with Roy Wood Jr. But first, go to the Google Play and iPhone shop, search up Happy Radio, and you can hear my show anywhere in the world. Tweet me at Ryan Happy Radio. Go to my website, RyanHappyRadio.com, and email me if you want to send me a shout out, or you want to be a sponsor, or you want to collaborate. RyanHappyRadio at gmail.com. All right, here's Roy Wood Jr. from The Daily Show. And on the phone line is a guy that I've known online for 2 years now. What's up, homie? It's comedian Roy Wood Jr., who you can see on The Daily Show.
We troll porn chat rooms together.
Hell yeah, dude. We go on Pornhub, and we're the ones that write those comments. Like, did you bang out that girl last night?
Yeah.
There's some of the weirdest comments on those sites. You ever notice that?
Yeah, dude. Who's commenting on porn? Just watch it, get in, get out, man. Do the damn thing.
Here's what I don't get about that, too, dude. If someone took the time to make the account, someone took the time to comment, and it's like, I just want to get it done and go to bed. I'm not one that puts time.
You also have to verify the email and put in a capture code and all kinds of filling. Are you sure you're really Long Dong 46? Yes, I am Long Dong 46.
And what I love, Roy, is the guys who are like, this isn't as good of a scene as when Lisa Ann was with this porn actor. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, yeah, every guy has the list of ones they watch, but you don't know the different videos. Or they're like, scroll to 17 minutes and 57 seconds. That is when she has the G-spot. And you're like, Jesus Christ, how do you know that?
Yeah, I mean, it's still better than reading Star Wars fans argue on YouTube, but, you know, it is what it is.
Dude, I don't know if you get negative comments online. I get some weird comments because I worked for Rover in Cleveland, and the fan base went from loving me to hating me. And now down here at the Bone, it's mixed. It's more love than hate. But I love the people who hide behind a keyboard, and they would never say it to our face, Roy. They're pussies.
Yeah, the same ones with an egg avatar on Twitter.
Or they have, like, let's say some wacky pick, and their name is like Johnny Demon, or they're wacky.
Some clown that only follows 9 people blocked me on Twitter because he didn't like some joke I cracked about Nikki Haley. I heard some Democratic State of the Union joke I made, and the dude has like 10 tweets total, and he tweets me, then blocks me. He's like, I'll show you. You're not even on Twitter enough.
We don't know who you are. Dude.
Yeah.
It did feel good. I blocked every single Kardashian, and it feels amazing. If any chance they ever were to search up Ryan Hoppe, it says you've been blocked by this user. That was pretty fulfilling. Just a chance in hell that they would look me up.
See, I take the opposite approach. I don't believe in blocking people online. You want to say something crazy. As a matter of fact, I don't even delete comments off of my Facebook page. When people get on my Facebook page and talk crazy, for as long as it's not like insulting my mom or family or stuff like that, but you say I'm not funny or you don't like me or whatever, that's fine. Because what happens underneath that is usually like 30 of my own friends and fans attacking this person to no end, and it gets ugly to a point where I have to call off the dog.
Yeah, I used to not be thick-skinned, Roy, and it's like, you can't take it too seriously. This is just a new phenomenon. It's been around for 5 years. Like, we didn't have keyboard warriors in 2006. You had MySpace, and we just had fucking glitter on it. Like, this is such a new thing of people hiding behind a keyboard like pussies. So I'm really learning that they wouldn't say it to our face. It's a fake world. Dude, the internet is not real life.
Well, the problem is that it takes a lot of effort. It used to take a lot of effort to voice your displeasure. If a restaurant screwed you over or you didn't like a cab,
yeah,
I didn't approve of something on this TV show, you had to sit with an ink pen and write it, or you had to type it. Then you mailed it to your local newspaper, and then the editor decided whether or not your hate was worthy enough of the stupid opinions column in the newspaper. And if you were really good, you went to college and got a degree. You needed a degree.
Yeah.
To be a columnist. Just to have the right to voice your opinion, you had to go to school first. And now all you need is a 4G connection and a decent data plan, and you too can be a jerk breath.
Do you ever read, like, the message boards on IMDb? Like, I'm watching the show Power, and I'm just done with season 1, almost done. And I want to read the comments, but I don't want to have everything ruined for me.
You'll ruin it.
And
don't do it.
Like, when I watch other shows like Sons of Anarchy or The Wire, they'll have debates. Is this the greatest show of all time? And they're like, I didn't think his acting was that good. Wendell Pierce is. It's like, Wendell Pierce is a better actor than you'll ever be. Like, it's just funny how they're critiquing, could this be the greatest show of all time? It's like, even if it's not the best show, Roy, it was on fucking TV for 7 years. Like, it's just funny how the internet always has to critique something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My favorite thing to do is to watch award shows and then stream on Twitter and just look at people just hating and spitting gibberish and nonsense and talking about whatever. Like, that stuff is what I really, really love.
And it used to
You
really
hate
get to
in real
me,
time.
you know, like it used to really get to me when I worked for Rover because the fans were mean. But then you realize it takes a certain person to do that. Like you have to make the account, just like we were talking about with the porn account. You have to verify it. And then you have to take the time to read the grammar to make sure the post makes sense and then click send. And if they send more than one tweet, dude, that means they're not getting laid. Maybe they don't like their wife. Something has to go on in someone's life for you to be cruel because they would never say it to our face. The internet is just, it's so corny now. It's sad.
Yeah, 100%, man. But such is the world we live in, man.
What's the response you've been getting online? Has there been a lot of people that were maybe offended by the jokes you've been saying on The Daily Show, or has the response been love?
I'm sure they have. I get the occasional hate tweet, but, you know, most of it's been love, or at least that's been directed at me. You know, for the most part, I don't read the message board Facebook page because there's always someone that's going to hate my guts, call me the N-word, or say I'm stupid, or we miss Jon Stewart, or, you know, whatever the hell. And that stuff doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, everybody has something to hate.
Yeah.
And I am somebody else's something. And that's fine. I'm sure if I went on Reddit right now, there's probably a Fire Roy Wood Jr. thread going on right now somewhere. And you know what? That's fine. That's just how it goes. It is what it is. But it's never bothered me. You know, thankfully I was a stand-up, you know, for, 16, 17 years before I got this job. And comedy is the ultimate in terms of waking you up and letting you know, hey, you suck, or hey, you're good. Because you find out right there in front of people. It's like getting YouTube comments in 3D.
Did you ever think you would make it this far? Or was there a point during your long 17 years where you wanted to give up because you're like, fuck it, I'm never going to make it?
There's only probably one time that I think I really hit a wall emotionally. And it was probably somewhere in, I don't know, year 5 or 6. So I'm trying to think. 98 to 01 is 3. I got the car. 2 years. So yeah, like year 6, maybe year 7. I was headed to a gig. I only had $14 in the bank, and I was still living with my mom. And I borrowed enough money from her. She's already, bitching at me to go to grad school, and I'm refusing because I got to focus on this, and it's going to lead to something. And I get halfway to a gig, and the booker calls me and tells me that the gig is canceled.
Yeah.
Now, this was the gig that I needed to get the money to afford to buy gas to get back home. So I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I literally don't have the money to get home.
What did you do?
I have $14 in the bank. I don't have enough money to go home. I can't afford a hotel. At this point, it's like 8:30 at night, and so I pull over to a Flying J truck stop, and I go, all right, well, I'll just sleep in the car. That's fine. I'll just sleep in the car. And so I let the engine run, and I'm down to about a quarter tank. And it gets to a point where I literally don't – I'm sorry the story's so long, but I get to a point where I can't leave the car running all night because I can't afford to use up what little gas I have left. So I would turn the car on, heat the car, turn the car off, fall asleep until I woke up freezing, wash, rinse, repeat. So I pretty much slept in, 45-minute cycles for the entire night. And you wake up in the middle of the night, white knuckled, you're freezing, you're shivering, your vision's blurred, and I just started crying, man. I was like, what the hell am I doing? But you steadfast, you hold strong, you figure it out. I woke up the next morning, drove to a temp service, and got a day labor job, worked for 8 hours, took my $40, bought me a tank of gas, and went the hell home.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.